430, that's how many pounds of beef jerky a single cow can produce. Sounds like a lot, right? But when you factor in the drying process, the sheer amount of raw beef it takes to make just one bag is mind-blowing. So how does it all come together? Well, if you think that drying meat is all there is to it, then you're dead wrong. From massive machines slicing through beef like butter, to the science of sea poisoning and dehydration, we are taking you step by step through the entire procedure, straight from the factory floor here in South Korea. Beef jerky, a $1.5 billion US industry and a global favorite, owes its popularity to its convenience and long shelf life. But in order to understand how we got here, we have to travel back in time to where it all began. 16th century obsession with preserved protein. Okay, so we just covered its origin story. But now, we'll look at the raw materials of mass-produced beef jerky that make it all possible. Then in the following section, I'll take you through the factory manufacturing that transforms meat into jerky. And finally, there will be a section dedicated to fun facts at the end of this video that might just change the way you think about your favorite snack. South Korean factories use 7 main ingredients to mass-produce beef jerky: lean beef soy sauce, sugar, salt, garlic pepper, and sodium nitrate. Each one has a specific job. The lean beef is the base and works best because it has little fat, resulting in less spoilage and a chewy texture. The soy sauce adds a rich savory flavor. The sugar balances the taste with sweetness and caramelizes during drying. The salt makes the flavor pop. While jerky industry to begin, workers wearing all white uniforms with protective PPE, including white face masks, enter the sanitation room. Here they take a roller similar to a lint roller and rub it over the top of their heads, shoulders, arms, and underarms before hanging it back. Above the hand washing station is an automatic dryer that activates without needing to press a single button. The only things touched by hand during this entire stage are the roller and the soap dispenser. The doors, water spout, and dryer are all automatic. It's clear we are living in the future here, folks. Anyway, from there, the workers head to the stock area where the meat is received at the factory and goes through thawing, which typically takes several hours under controlled temperatures. Here we see multiple mobile racks made of metal, each stacked with yellow tubs filled with the frosty meat. Each rack has about 6 shelves, and each shelf holds 2 tubs, making a total of 10 tubs per, with transparent plastic wrap. This is then moved back to the thawing room. Can you see the condensation inside the vats? Yeah, this happens because the meat gives off heat and moisture. As it thaws, the plastic cover traps this warm, moist air, and when the warm air touches the cooler plastic, it turns into water droplets, which you can see as condensation. Next, the foie gras goes through a selection procedure. Workers use sharp knives to remove fat or fascia, aka connective tissue, from the beef. The workers trimming the fat remove only what is necessary without wasting meat, and their fluid motions show they are far from beginners. They even wear gloves and aprons over their white PPE. But why white PPE and not, I don't know, fiery red or bright pink? Well, the answer to that is simple. White makes it easier to spot any dirt. As you can see, efficiency is Korea's middle name. Meanwhile, the trimmed meat, about the size of a large pieces, are moved back into the metal vats, ready for the next stage. Alright, now it's seasoning time. Workers wearing yellow gloves take large plastic bags filled with pre-packaged seasoning, such as soy sauce, sugar, garlic powder, and pepper, and dump them into a large metallic mixing machine. This contains liquid that is being circulated at high speed. It requires zero human effort as the machine combines the seasoning mixture perfectly. The prepared seasoning is then used to cure the meat. We see this cured meat being laid out one by one onto a conveyor belt that moves rather slowly compared to normal conveyor belts. Why? Because the meat needs to be injected by an injector. This injector lets the seasoning soak deeply into the meat by piercing it over 8 times in evenly spaced spots across the meat. At the end of this conveyor belt, a worker carefully moves the beef onto another conveyor belt. Here the meat goes into a gadget with metal rollers that flatten and slice the meat into thin. The way they keep this factory so spotless would make any mother dance with glee. Next, we see the cured beef lying flat on a large metal tray. The workers cover it with plastic wrap and marinate it for 2 more days at a low temperature. They make sure the plastic wrap is tucked into all the crevices so the meat is completely covered. After the meat has aged, it goes to the molding step. The workers hang the sliced meat on hooks, 1 slice per hook, making sure none of it overlaps. Each metal rod or pole holds over 20 strips of meat, and these rods are placed on wheeled racks with more than 30 rods each. That's a lot of beef jerky. Even though the jerky isn't quite ready yet, the racks are sent for drying. The drying happens in a large smoke chamber. The meat is dried for at least 100 minutes at high heat. How do they know when it's done? A red light goes off when that happens. They turn off the smoker and wheel out the dried meat. You can really flat because the opening is wide, but not very tall if a piece isn't laid flat. They adjust it so it can go through properly. This instrument instantly dices the long strips into smaller chunks and spits them out into another container. On the other side, I was today's years old when I discovered how much I love watching beef jerky chunks fly through the air. Next, a worker uses a large metal bowl to collect the cut jerky pieces and dumps them into another container. This container dispenses the pieces at an even pace onto another conveyor belt. Where does this belt lead? It goes through a metal detector to check for any foreign materials. If anything unusual is detected, like somebody's wisdom tooth or perhaps a $20 bill, everything stops immediately to prevent contamination. Once the jerky passes this check, it's dropped onto white semicircular trays. These trays are automatically lifted into the air as part of the factory process. And where they go? One part opens the plastic bags, another holds them steady, and yet another fills them with the already sorted jerky pieces. But before sealing the bags, the tool drops in the do not eat freshness packet. As well, sealing is also fully automated. The mechanical instrument keeps the product airtight, and once sealed, the bags move on to conveyor belts, lots of them, an ungodly amount in fact. These belts carry the transparent jerky bags through a second inspection, like the one that happened before packaging here. Each bag goes through a weight checker and a metal detector. If a bag is overweight or contains any foreign material, it gets flagged. Overweight bags could cost them millions, and metal contamination could lead to lawsuits. So they take extra care to avoid any hidden surprises. Once the plain plastic bags pass inspection, they move on to the next stage, further packaging. This is where things get hands-on. About 6 workers, all dressed in gray uniforms, also equipped with lights to signal issues. If something isn't sealed correctly, or the date is missing, a red light flashes and an alarm sound. Luckily, everything seems to be running smoothly here, with green light confirming success. Yeehaw! Once sealed, the finished bags are dropped into yellow crates, which are then taken by workers, who transfer the jerky into sturdy cardboard boxes. The boxes are then sealed and prepped for shipping to stores around the world. Now, starting at No. 5 and counting down to No. 1. Here are the top 5 most fascinating, weird, and downright hilarious fun facts about beef jerky. Let's stare into this. No. 5. Jerky was almost illegal. Yep. Jerky almost got cancelled before cancel culture was even a thing. Back in 16th century Europe, dried meat imports from South America were seen as NASA's favorite space snack. When you think of food and space, you probably imagine sad packets of powdered spaghetti or mysterious space paste. But jerky, that's dining in style. It's lightweight, it's high in protein, and most importantly, it doesn't crumble. Crumbs in space are a big no-no, because they can clog up billion-dollar equipment. So jerky was practically born to go to space. Astronauts munch on it to stay fueled while floating around the universe. And let's be real, eating beef jerky while staring at the Earth from a spaceship window sounds a lot cooler than stress snacking on it in traffic. No. 3. It's not just beef. Jerky isn't only a beefy affair. Oh no. Humanity has turned some unexpected animals into dehydrated snacks. In Alaska, salmon jerky is a favorite. In the southern US they have alligator jerky. Because apparently nothing come a snack. No, to jerky helped win wars. Jerky was a war hero back in the American Civil War. Soldiers stuffed it into their rations because it was lightweight, easy to carry and didn't spoil. Soldiers could hike for miles, fueled by the mysterious powers of dried meat. Forget protein bars, jerky was the OG survival food, but as previously mentioned, its history goes even further, back to the 16th century South American Quechua people, who were drying and salting meat long before us. They perfected a system that literal armies and eventual convenience stores couldn't resist. No, one jerky could last 1,000 years. Alright, maybe not exactly 1,000 years, but properly made, jerky could outlast your Netflix queue. The secret lies in dehydration. By removing all the water, jerky makes it impossible for bacteria and your heart. Whether it's breaking laws, floating in space, poisoning people, or surviving centuries, jerky is a certified veteran at this point. Now excuse me while I grab a bag, but before I go off, let me congratulate you. You now know exactly how beef jerky is made. And since you're already here, you might as well check out the last video we posted. It may just shock you.